This is Optimal Relationships Daily, episode 508. Is there such a thing as planning too far ahead? By Liz Keneski and Taylor Ann Morgan of Loves.com. Happy Wednesday, old friend. I'm your host, Joss Marie, and welcome back to the show where I bring you some of the best relationship content we can find. And just a little FYI that we actually have 5 shows in our network where we narrate content for you. So simply search for Optimal Living Daily in the podcast app of your choice to find them. And today, I'm going to be sharing a post from Loves.com that explores just how much planning we should be doing with our romantic relationships. So let's hear about the study and results and start optimizing your life. Is there such a thing as planning too far ahead? By Liz Keneski and Taylor Ann Morgan of Loves.com. Discussing the future of one's romantic relationship, including the possibility of marriage, can be an exciting, novel experience for couple members, but it can also be incredibly stressful. As a couple grows closer and their relationship becomes more serious, it's entirely natural to discuss future plans. But are some discussions more helpful than others on the path to a hopefully happy and long-lasting relationship? And is there such a thing as planning too far ahead? As part of a larger study on engagement and weddings, we asked currently engaged and married individuals to reflect on how much they discussed a range of topics before they became engaged. Specifically, participants were asked how often they talked about 1. The possibility of getting married, 2. The possibility of when or how a marriage proposal might take place, 3. The type of ring or token that might be exchanged when a proposal did take place, and 4. The details regarding the wedding they wanted. Each question was responded to on a scale from never to very often, with options of rarely, sometimes, and often in between. We wanted to determine whether discussing these future events prior to becoming engaged was associated with couples then being happier with each event when or after it occurred. Further, we wanted to explore whether discussing certain aspects of getting engaged and married before experiencing the commitment of actually becoming engaged might also be associated with the overall quality of their relationship. So, we also asked how satisfied individuals were with the proposals, their engagement rings, and their actual weddings, which had already occurred for married individuals and which were currently being planned for engaged individuals, as well as how satisfied they were in their relationships overall and how committed they were to their partners. What did we find? First, how often are couples having these discussions before becoming engaged? On average, both engaged and married individuals reported that they discussed the possibility of getting married sometimes. Additionally, engaged and married individuals reported discussing the specifics of getting engaged, such as the possibility of when or how a marriage proposal might take place, with what type of engagement or ring or token, rarely, and the wedding they might want, rarely to sometimes. Thus, these topics certainly come up or are brought up for couples who are dating, but not very often for most. However, there was a lot of variability in how much individuals reported discussing these topics with their partners. Some had never discussed the possibility of marriage before becoming engaged, and some had discussed what type of engagement rings they wanted to exchange very frequently prior to an engagement. Second, were more frequent discussions about any of these topics associated with how happy individuals were with their engagement and wedding experiences, and with how happy they currently were with their relationships? For engaged individuals, discussing the possibility of getting married more frequently before becoming engaged was associated with higher levels of current relationship satisfaction and commitment. However, the frequency with which couples discussed the proposal, ring, and wedding prior to getting engaged was not related to current relationship or commitment or to individual satisfaction with the proposal, ring, or planned wedding. For married individuals, discussing the possibility of getting married more frequently prior to becoming engaged was not related to current relationship satisfaction or commitment. But interestingly, more frequent discussions of the specifics of the engagement, such as proposal and engagement rings, were associated with lower levels of current relationship satisfaction and commitment. And discussing the wedding before becoming engaged was also associated with lower levels of relationship commitment. Further, and similar to engaged individuals, discussing the rings and wedding before becoming engaged was not associated with satisfaction with the rings or wedding. What does it all mean? So, should you start talking about marriage with your partner or not? According to our results, discussing plans to marry may be an important step in moving a relationship forward, and likely reflects something happy couples are naturally inclined to do. However, planning far ahead with frequent discussions about the specifics of getting engaged and having a wedding may not help the relationship or your chances of experiencing a more satisfying proposal, ring, or wedding. Now, before you rush off to your partner for an exciting discussion about your future marriage, there is an important caveat to these results. Individuals were reporting retrospectively about discussions they had in the past, but also providing current level of relationship satisfaction and commitment within the same survey. In other words, we cannot say that discussing these topics causes different relationship outcomes. It may be the case that individuals who are happier with their current relationship simply remember discussing marriage more prior to becoming engaged, but do not recall discussing the details of a proposal, ring, or wedding as clearly. On the flip side, individuals who are less happy in their current relationships may remember discussing those details frequently, perhaps because those discussions were less welcomed or did not go smoothly at the time. Although the current study's results do not provide insight into why discussions of marriage may be more beneficial than discussions of the proposal, ring, and wedding, we suspect that the former may be more positive for relationships for a number of reasons. For example, it could be that focusing on the future of the relationship rather than future events, the proposal, the wedding, and possessions, the engagement rings, builds a foundation of putting the health of the relationship first. Is it about getting married or about having a wedding? It may also be that talking more about future details of an engagement and wedding before the commitment of an engagement has occurred might accelerate a relationship too quickly before one or both couple members are ready to move forward toward marriage. More research is needed to fully understand the implications of pre-engagement marital discussions. But for now, you might want to carefully consider sharing your Pinterest wedding board with your partner. You just listened to the post titled, "Is There Such a Thing as Planning Too Far Ahead?" by Liz Keneski and Taylor Ann Morgan of Loves.com. Thanks a ton to Liz and Taylor for sharing the study's findings. This post is just a really good overall reminder for us to be more mindful when it comes to our relationships. And speaking of mindfulness, you can actually go ahead and visit oldpodcast.com to check out the other shows in our network. And on that note, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. Thanks so much for joining me here. I hope you have a great day, and come on back again tomorrow with a post by Shauna Scaife on decluttering toys, where your optimal life awaits.